Single dad crashes job interview. The CEO is a billionaire who knows his struggle. Daniel Reyes was at the end of his rope. A single father to 6-year-old Mia. He'd juggled night shifts, skipped meals, and pawned his last good watch just to afford a clean shirt and gas for a job interview that could change their lives. The position? Maintenance supervisor at a prestigious tech company in downtown Chicago. Stable pay, benefits, everything he needed to finally breathe. But life had other plans. As he rushed into the glass tower with Mia holding his hand tightly, a security guard blocked him at the elevator. No kids allowed past the lobby. Sir, the guard said firmly. Daniel's heart sank. He didn't have a sitter. He had begged the receptionist to watch her just for 10 minutes, but she shook her head. Company policy. He looked at Mia. Baby, just sit right there. Don't talk to strangers. Okay. Mia nodded bravely, hugging her stuffed lion. Daniel sprinted to the 17th floor, heart pounding. When he walked into the conference room, everyone stared. He was late, sweaty, and the hiring panel 3 suits and a sharply dressed woman seated at the end looked unimpressed. The woman, striking, in a dark maroon blazer, narrowed her eyes. Mr. Reyes. Yes, ma'am. I apologize. My daughter. Childcare fell through. I had no one else. One of the panelists muttered something about professionalism. But the woman at the end, the CEO herself, Eleanor Vell, her hand to silence them. She stood. Excuse me for a moment. Without explanation, Eleanor left the room. Downstairs, the receptionist sat stunned, as the CEO herself knelt beside a small girl with a lion in her lap. Hi, Eleanor said gently. I'm Ellie. What's your lion's name? Mia blinked. Mr. Rory. Ellie smiled. Mind if I keep you company while your dad's upstairs? Back in the conference room, Daniel stumbled through the interview, nervous and distracted. He had barely finished talking about his previous job when the door opened and Eleanor returned. Holding Mia's hand, Daniel stood up, alarmed. I hope you don't mind, Eleanor said. I thought Mia might like to join us. Everyone froze. Eleanor looked at the panel. You've all had your turn. Now it's mine. She sat across from Daniel and leaned forward. I know what it's like. Mr. Reyes. I was raised by a single father. He used to clean hotel bathrooms during the day and take classes at night. People judged him too until he built his own business. That business eventually helped me launch this company. She glanced at Mia, then back at Daniel. You didn't crash this interview. You fought to be here. That tells me everything I need to know. Eleanor stood. You're hired. Daniel's breath caught. What? She smiled. Welcome to Vail Tech. You start Monday. And if you ever need help with childcare, our on-site daycare will be happy to have Mia. Mia clapped. Yeah, Mr. Rory loves new friends. The panel looked stunned. The CEO didn't care. Daniel bent down, hugging Mia tightly, tears threatening to spill. Sometimes, miracles wore business suits, and sometimes, the people who understood your struggle were the ones who never forgot their own. Daniel stood at the front entrance of Vail Tech the following Monday, wearing the same shirt he'd worn to the interview, cleaned and pressed as best as he could manage. Mia clung to his side, her backpack bouncing as she looked up at the towering glass building. You sure you're not nervous, Daddy? She asked with wide eyes. He smiled, brushing her curls back. Not with you by my side, kiddo. Inside, the front desk receptionist, who had looked at them with thinly veiled annoyance last week now, stood up with a professional smile. Mr. Reyes, Ms. Vale is expecting you. Someone from the daycare team will come get your daughter. A young woman in a cheerful blue polo soon arrived and knelt beside Mia. Hi there. You must be Mia. Want to come meet the other kids? We've got puzzles and pancakes. Mia lit up. Pancakes? Daniel gave her a quick hug. Be good, baby. Mia nodded solemnly. You too, Daddy. As she was led away, Daniel exhaled, suddenly feeling like he was stepping into a new chapter, and in a way he was. Later that morning, Daniel was shown around the facility's clean hallways, high-tech tools, and an actual lounge with fresh coffee and fruit. After years of fixing broken heating systems in freezing basements, it felt like he'd landed on another planet. He was just getting acquainted with the maintenance schedule when his new supervisor, Greg, walked him down to the executive wing. Apparently, the CEO wants to see you personally. Daniel tensed. Did I do something wrong already? Greg chuckled. Doubt it. Ms. Vale doesn't talk to just anyone, especially not twice in 1 week. Top floor. Eleanor Vale's office. Eleanor was standing by the window when he entered, her heels clicking as she turned to greet him. Daniel, she said warmly, how was your first morning? He nodded, still a bit stiff. It's incredible. I mean, I feel like I don't belong here. But she interrupted, stepping forward. Don't say that. You earned this. Most people in this building never had to claw their way out of hardship. You did. That's your strength. Daniel looked down. Honestly, I thought I'd be invisible in a place like this. Eleanor. Eyes softened. You're not invisible. I see you. And so will a lot of others, especially now. She handed him an envelope. What's this? He opened it and froze. Inside was a check, $5,000, marked as a relocation and hardship grant. I had it written up this morning, Eleanor said. It's not charity, it's a hand up. Use it for clothes, repairs, whatever you need to stabilize. Daniel choked. On his words, I don't know what to say. You already did, she said. When you showed up for that interview with your daughter, despite every obstacle, that evening Daniel picked Mia up from the daycare, where she had already made 2 friends, and told the staff that her daddy fixes buildings now like a superhero. They rode the bus home, Daniel staring at the city skyline as the sun dipped. Below it, Daddy, Mia said, resting her head on his shoulder, do you like your new job? He kissed her forehead. It's not just a job, baby, it's a new life. Back at Valtech, days later, Daniel's work ethic quickly gained attention. He stayed late, helped others, and even fixed an electrical issue that had stumped a contractor. Eleanor quietly kept track. One afternoon, as he repaired a panel outside her private elevator, she stepped out and offered him a bottled water. You ever think about leadership? She asked. Daniel laughed. Me? I'm just trying to get through. One day at a time. She handed him a folder. Take this. It's a company scholarship. Covers tuition for a tech management certification. You've got what it takes to go further if you want it. He looked at the folder, stunned. Why are you doing this? Eleanor hesitated, then said quietly, because someone did it for my father once, and because when I see you, I see the same fire in your eyes. A year later, Daniel stood on stage at Valtech's annual company celebration, clean suit, confident smile. He had just been promoted to head of facilities operations. Mia sat front row, swinging her legs and beaming. Eleanor stood beside him, holding the mic. This is what we believe in, she told the room. Not just profits, but people. Because behind every application is a story, and sometimes the best employees are the ones who walk through the door holding their child's hand. The crowd applauded. Daniel smiled down at Mia. And for the first time in a long time, he no longer felt like he was just surviving. He was living, building something better.